when you think about conflict, there's so many reactions. People want to flee. People don't want to deal with it.
You know, sometimes you just kind of want to go into that place, you know, that little cave, you know, where you can just pack it all back down, you know, just get rid of it all and, you know, come out on the other side where nothing's wrong, everything's great, you know, and it's just not that way.
Typically, people say, what's the top 3 things that people have to deal with as far as conflict? Give me some interaction. What do you think? Just not in your life necessarily, but what do you think are the top 3 things that marriages have to deal with in conflict? Money, finances, yeah, that's number 1. That didn't take long, did it? Time, that's good. How about children? Anybody have any conflict because of their children? Am I the only one? How about, and I realize you guys are a little too proper for this one, intimacy.
Just say what it is.
Sex. Is that it? Or just get it right down to it, right? That's exactly right. Those kind of things create some conflict, especially in a family with a special needs child.
If you have special needs children, the time is so rare to actually have a conversation.
I guess I had to learn that we dealt with things a little bit differently.
I think sometimes guys get that, you know, I want to fix it. There's got to be something that's going to help to make this all better.
Let me just take you down. I mean, finances, you're tapped out. You are absolutely tapped out as far as finances are concerned. I mean, you got doctors, you got therapists, you got to come up with money to buy that brand new little gizmo that's gonna take your child to the next level.
It just kind of tears you apart. That you can't be the father and the husband that you want to be. You know, sometimes I feel like I just do a lousy job.
And I mean, you look at our children. I mean, as sweet and innocent as they are, they provide conflict. Because so many times, we may not agree on even the therapy that we need for our child. We don't agree on how serious the issues are in our child. We don't agree on, when we go out, who's going to take care of our children.
There's no hope of, okay, we're going to get a breather eventually. And then we struggle with sitters and the time to actually be away from it, you know, and just bond as a couple is really, really hard.
Sometimes we don't agree on the safety of our child, people in our family, or maybe even our neighbors. Some of us have to make really tough decisions and go, are we going to put our child in a short-term or a long-term care facility? And that provides some tension and conflict. Sometimes we may have to call the ambulance. There's probably some people in here that maybe have had to call the police to intervene. There's conflict.
I get a lot of conflict in my head all the time of, am I doing the right thing? What could I have done differently? And you're just constantly processing and thinking about those things.
Having a special needs child is for me, it's just information overload.
As far as sex, we know that there's conflict. And when you put on top of it the finances and the children and everything else, we're exhausted.
And sometimes you're so tired by the end of the day when you actually, and you're emotionally drained, I don't want to have that conversation anymore.
Well, like with Amy, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know what, I don't have the energy for her. I don't have the energy for me.
I'd rather turn on the TV and just sit there and zone out and not think about anything that is really relevant to my life.
Since we know we have conflict, it's inevitable. It's in our lives. What do you do with it? What we're going to do is teach you a method, a process. And I know sometimes for some of you that even provides conflict. But what it is, we're going to give you a common language so that you can take the issues that you have and be able to take it to conflict resolution. Let's break down conflict resolution, kind of the anatomy of conflict resolution. It's going to be broken down into 3 parts. You got conflict, confrontation, and forgiveness. If that was a sentence, conflict would be the noun. Conflict is the thing. So many times we think that's the thing that we have conflict. There's the run-in. We have to deal with something there. No, what I'm saying is that's the issue. Confrontation, that's the part that most people fear and run from. That's the time where most people say, I don't want any part of that. But we're going to give you a way that even in that confrontation, if you're on the same page, even the confrontation is something not to fear. And then the last thing, forgiveness. That's where the power is.
You know, I hear about the statistics that's, for marriages, failure. You know, I feel like I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be in that 80 percentile. I'm one of the 20. I'm gonna make it. And you know what? I have every part of my being. I'm gonna do it. Because that's who I am, and I don't quit. I don't give up. But it's hard.